the start you've had to the season? Because we all wrote you off and you've all proved us wrong, really.
I think it's still too early to tell in a lot of stuff. Look, we didn't feel we were that bad a team after pre-season, and like at the end of the day, we're not an amazing team at the minute. We're still learning, but it's obviously a little bit better to learn when you're winning games. We're also confident in our own ability, but we're not getting carried away with winning 2 games. Still another 20 to go in the league, and then you've got the Champions Cup and things. So yeah, we're keeping our feet on the ground, and there's another important game come Sunday, and we want to keep the momentum building.
Speaking of Chris Gibson on Friday night after the Dragons game, he said that you after the game said a few words in the dressing room, saying how you were pleased, like Ospreys character. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's. How can I say? I thought the last sort of minute and a half, and I think when you look at like Andy Powell's charging down, we've got 2 points to defend, and you got Duncan Runye sort of gang tackling Andy Powell, hitting him back. Then you got Bish coming off the line. You got Biggs making tackles from 10. I thought there was a little bit of a moment of probably right throughout the game. I didn't think our defence was fantastic. I thought there's a lot of work on, which we've done yesterday and we'll do so today. But I did think probably the last sort of minute and a half, 30 seconds of the game, I felt there was a real sort of intent and that belief that we could see the game out, and probably we've let the game Dragons come back into it a little bit, but I did think there was that intent to be physical, and I thought that was a real pleasure with taking a young group up to the Dragons, and we should have scored a few more points, we feel, and probably we should have been a little bit more clinical, but like we say, we're pretty happy going to the Dragons. I don't think many teams are going to go up there and get wins. They'll have a good few scalps up there, and there's a lot of experience in around the Dragons pack, and yeah, we're pretty pleased with coming away with 4 points, but we realise that there's still a hell of a lot for us to work on and ready for Sunday and going to trips like Munster and Zebras thereafter.
I guess you would have looked at the scrums a fair bit.
Yeah.
But on the face of it, that seemed to be an area certainly in the first half where you were struggling. What's your assessment having looked at it now?
Yeah, I think it's hard for referees, interpretation and whatnot. We felt there was a couple of things that didn't go quite our way in around that. We felt we were unlucky with a couple of calls. But it's something that we're a work in progress. It's something we can't shy away from. We want the set piece to be better in all areas, and it's something that we're working hard to focus on in Edinburgh, because we know they're a strong outfit, and then going to Munster and Zebras, we know we're coming up against heavy teams. It's something that's an area of work on for us, but we did feel a couple of things we didn't get quite the rub of the green, but that happens, and going away from home and things won't go your way. It's just how we adapt, and some young men in around the scrum, we've got to adapt and learn and make sure that we don't get the outcomes we did on the weekend.
Steve, don't you assess Smith's progress?
Yeah, really positive. He's still only 20, but it's not getting carried away with Nicky. There's a lot of good attributes to his game, but there's still a lot of things he needs to work on, and it's a good experience. Like, experience is about being sort of dominant towards the end of Treviso, but going away up to the Dragons, people ain't going to give you what you want, and it's like you coming up against different opposition, different shapes, different sizes, different interpretations how people scrum. So the more Nicky gets field time, game time, whatever you want to call it, and I think he's only going to come on leaps and bounds.
Eli Walker picked up man of the match. As a coaching group, how exciting is it to have a young talent like that at your disposal?
Yeah, it's great. So pace is something that like everyone wants in their back three, and Eli is getting over some bad injuries, in fairness to him, and I can see the confidence coming back in him. I think we supported him, and like Treviso, you could see he was a little bit off on certain things, but then the Dragons, he started to get a little bit better again. There's lots for us to work on, the individual performance, but there's no substitute for pace in around Eli. You give him half a yard and he's gone, and it's only a positive for us in a counter-attack game, and if we can get it to him in a little bit of space or 1v1s, then you feel you're going to get some positive outcomes out of it.
Time for him, because he was going to play for Wales last August, and then the injury came, basically wrecked this season. How has he dealt with that? Have you been impressed by the way he's working to get back his fitness?
Yeah, and I think the club, the conditioners, the physios and things have worked really hard, and they've been really positive. We've managed his workload. We've given him probably a longer period than probably normally would have, but it's about confidence managing him. He didn't always do everything in the summer. We wanted to make sure he's doing top end stuff, also with sort of endurance work, but it's the physios and the conditioners have got to take a real pat in the back for that and getting him back up and running, because he come back out in Ulster, he looked sharp, pulled his hamstring again, and it's something these highly tuned athletes, then it does play in the mind, but you can see Eli slowly coming back, and I thought there was an improvement from Saracens. You could see a relief after him having 40 minutes. Treviso, he had 55 minutes. You could see a relief him coming off, and you can see the confidence building, then having a try and making some real positive line breaks and around stuff on the weekend. It's only going to build his confidence, and I'm sure he's going to keep developing over the weeks.
Would you fancy defending against him?
In my shape now, no, I don't think I hold out much hope, if I'm honest, since I stopped playing. But no, I think if you get him 1v1, you can see he can stand anyone up, and in around our wingers it's hard to defend. And I think the good thing for Eli, there's competition in our environment as well, with Jeff Hassler. Hano's not in the team in the minute. Isaiah hasn't been in the match day. 23 and young Torben Grabham is every training session he's on top of it and he's asking questions. So I think we're in a positive space and around our sort of back three positions, which is a good place to be in for us.
When are we going to see your best team out? I mean, you're building presumably towards the start of the Champions Cup. I mean, when will you have a special 7 back by then or not?
Yeah, I think we'll have both our 7s back over the next sort of, well, I think maybe Tips may be involved this weekend. He's come through the early part of the week training, so we've got another contact session this afternoon. Then we've got 2 days off, so we'll see how he pulls up after that, see if his involvement for Tips. And Sam Lewis is recovering a little bit quicker than we thought, so we're hoping he'll be available either Munster or the Zebras game. So we'll have, I think we do need a special 7 back. I think Kingy's done a real good job in around it, but those natural instincts in around the 7, I feel in an attacking sense, getting on the end of some of our line breaks and then possibly getting steals. Kingy's getting better at it, and I think he's done really well for us over the last 2 weeks. So we're pretty pleased in looking at what our backup is, and to manage to get a couple of wins without the tradesman, I think is only holding us in a positive way going forward.
Yeah, well, no disrespect to him, but you are a bigger threat than a special 7.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's Kingy had a couple of turnovers on the weekend, but like Sam Lewis, he's real danger over the ball, and it's the speed of tackle to get back up over the ball, which you do lack in around some things. And then you've got a tradesman 7 in around the wider channels. We feel we've got Tips and Sam who are really good on the ball as well. And then, just natural 7, sniff out opportunities, like when Matavisi goes through or Eli makes that line break, then you could see a 7 getting on, keeping that play moving, or that first TC is dealt with really quickly.
You're wondering about Scott Baldwin. I mean, you lose him out, but he's really stepped up to the plate, hasn't he?
Yeah, again, I know I was probably sounding a bit boring around it. I think there's real positives in around Baldwin, but there's so much still for him to improve on, and I think that's where it sums us up as a team. We are a work in progress. There's a lot of positives in around things, but we know as individuals we have to get better for us to keep on competing, keep on winning games, and for other being competitive in every tournament we undertake. Per man, we have to get better. There's all work-ons, and even from the likes of Tips to Baldwin to Kingy to young Nicky Smith, as a group we need to keep learning and keep improving.
Lloyd Pierce, is he going to be out for a while, or is this the 1 week thing?
I think he'll struggle for the weekend. He'll probably come back and do a little bit of running, maybe Friday, Saturday. We haven't ruled him out to the game yet, but I think it's highly unlikely he'll partake in that, and especially with a short turnaround Munster Zebras, we'll hope to have him fit definitely for those 2 games.
And Sales back in frame.
Tips will probably come
Start
back.
him on the bench, you know?
I generally will see how he pulls up. Someone like Tips, we know he'll be able to get back up and running pretty quickly. So if he comes through fit, there's potentially he could start the game. Yeah, it'd be a good boost for us. But like we say, I think it's easier to talk about Tips, but I think Kingy's done an outstanding job in being thrown in there. I know he started a test match for Wales in round 7, but it's something that he's done a good job, and I think he's improved. I think he's getting more of a physical presence in around a lot of his tackles, and he's been a real positive ball carrier for us. So we feel James is coming along, and now with, I know it's well documented, another second row coming in, we'll hopefully be able to keep Kingy in that 6th position and floating around the back row, where I think he potentially could get international honours.
Is this about when you expected Tips to come back, about earlier or something?
Probably would have liked him back in around the mix for the Dragons, if not a little bit earlier, but it was he had a little bit of a catching thing. We give him a little bit extra, so he'll come back in this week. But we're lucky to have people like Kingy in around and who can fill in those spots, and we got young Lloyd Evans, who's floating around the Premiership. He's done a bit of work there. Didn't feel it was quite right to put him in, but there's a bit of potential in him too.
What are you expecting from Edinburgh?
I think it'll be a real tough game. I think they're further down the track now with Alan Solomons. You can see, I don't think they'll throw many surprises at it, but you know they'll be disciplined in what they do. They fill the field well in defence. And then they line up has got a hell of a lot better. They're a physical presence. They've got a good kicking game. They'll try to make sure they get plenty of field position. They won't overplay. It's probably something like we were, I'd say, 2 years ago, where we didn't play an awful lot. We'd kick and contest a little bit more. We see that coming from them. But we see the Nuggety team, and probably they set up to be a difficult team to beat away from home. So it's something we know we'll have to be on the money, and we have to be accurate in around the tackle contest, which needs to improve from where we were against the Dragons to keep that sort of speed and get to the areas we need to be in.
Steve, how impressed have you been by some of the other sides in the board half, like Leinster, Glasgow?
Yeah, I don't think Leinster and probably Glasgow are a real surprise. You know how good they are, and Glasgow have been growing over the last 4 years, and Gregor Townsend's done an amazing job. He's got an outstanding squad. He's got a real trust in his squad. He brings people in. Spoken to him a few times. He's just got a good mind about rugby, and I think Glasgow are probably 2 or 3 years down the track. They've got a settled squad. They don't bring, like, they brought a couple of decent players in, but they seem to go. They know how to win. They've got that habit, and you only see them on the weekend. You give them a sniff of an opportunity, they take it. And I think you look at us last year against Glasgow, we went up there. We played really well. Probably felt we should have won the game, and then with sort of 2 or 3 minutes to go, Matualu comes on, line break, and it's a try, and then you're coming away with just the losing bonus point. So yeah, they're a team. I think they're a team that just at the minute they've got that winning habit. And Leinster, you know, they've got proven track record. You don't win Heineken Cups and Rabos without having a decent squad and quality players, and it shows what a threat they are at the RDS. But I think the competition is getting stronger. I think there's going to be more surprises this year than ever. And you look at the Dragons, I think you look at them going up there. We are really pleased to take 4 points from up there, because you know the experience they've brought back. It's a tough place to go, and I can see those knocking people over. The Zebras have improved, so I think it's going to be really open.
When does Steve Camp arrive?
We're working on. He had an appointment last week, so we're hoping he'll arrive. I'm squeezing Lloydie, hoping he'll arrive next week at some point.
What have you made of the fuss over his declaration that he wants to play for Wales?
I think it's a little bit over the top, if I'm honest. But it's especially when you've got so many other sort of time servers in around the place. I think he said something that, like, in goodwill. It's not something that I think it's been a little bit blown out of proportion. But look, first and foremost, he's got a job to do for us when he comes in. He's got to get in our team. I've spoken to him. He's been over, met him. Seems like a real good character. And if we can get a good 3 years out of him, developing some of our younger kids, that's what he's been brought in to do. Is when, like Alan Wynne, we've got experience. When we go into Ulster, and potentially you've got a bit more experience. It's well documented how young our pack is, and I think we need that experience. Someone who's played for the Stormers 49, 50 times. You need that going away from home through those autumn Six Nation times. But then I think you've got a player there who will challenge for a Champions Cup spot. But I think he's done a lot of work. We've done some digging on his character, which we feel is a massive factor when you come to the Ospreys. It's not just about the player. We do some digging on the background. We've had him over. We've met him. I've spoken to Blanche and people in and around him. We see him, he's a good character. He's going to develop the likes of Rory Thornton and Adam Beard, Rod Hughes, which is really important for us, because we feel we've got depth coming through. It's just a little bit off in the physical nature and understanding what it is, but we feel he'll work well with that. But also he'll challenge Renier, Lloyd and Alan Wynne for those sort of Champions Cup competitions.
Steve Camp's one player who's come in since the season started. I think we've spoken before about perhaps with the sort of political side sorted, the funds are there. I don't know if you've seen the reports in France that Lee Halfpenny's contract situation might be in jeopardy too, obviously the injury situation. The Blues say they're monitoring the situation. If he was available, do you think that would be?
Oh, look, I think you'd always be interested in the quality of Halfpenny's situation, but I think it is paper talk without saying anything about it. Like, we'll keep our ear to the ground, but the only thing I will concentrate on is our boys. Like, obviously we've got our recruitment that goes on, but it's something that pretty comfortable with Fuss and Dan at the minute. So it's something that obviously you'd be interested in a quality of that, a player of that quality, but it's something we've just got to focus on the day-to-day stuff.